Hey, we're live. Would you look at that?
It's not pulling up.
No, the recording screen will show our faces on it, ideally.
Okay.
Hopefully. If not, oh well.
Okay.
Okay.
So this is recording right now.
What? The light's on, Jonathan.
Okay.
So something's.
Welcome to our podcast for deaf people, episode 2.
We better clarify.
We better.
This is not really for deaf people. It's an ironic title.
Yes.
Creating
satire.
It's satire on the fact that this is a media source that's exclusively audio, dedicated to people who are audio disabled. But they decided to switch that setting off, and I don't know why.
Alrighty.
I'm Nate Dodderman.
I am Jonathan Dodderman. That has not changed. We still keep our names. Alright. So let's begin episode 2.
Yeah, Jonathan, you had something for me.
Alright.
Lay it on me, dude.
What is the proper
scoot over? There.
What is the proper social reaction when your 50-year-old photography teacher voices his wishes to die? Now, I'm gonna take y'all back a little bit.
Yeah.
This was about a week ago.
Give us a little context here.
So, let me introduce you guys to a man named Dominic Manko, who was my hero. Now, Dominic Manko was my 3rd period photography teacher at high school, and this man is pretty great. And 90% of the reason why is because at one point he was sitting down with us working on grading some assignments for our photography class, and then we were doing some assignment that he had assigned to us, and one of the girls kept messing up the submission process, and her computer just wasn't having it for some reason. It would kind of like load up the file and just instantly go away. So she was like, oh god, I wish I could just die. And without any hesitation, and without even looking away from his computer, and was so furiously typing, Mr. Manko was just kind of like, oh god, big mood, same. And then he just kept going. And then he gave no elaboration.
Huh.
So it was the kind of moment that I thought was like a bit of a fever dream. Like, the sort of thing of that, like, half in sleep, half out of sleep when you're very sick, and you're just, like, reality and fantasy are kind of blending together, and you're like, whoa. I kind of thought it was like that for just a moment. And I was like, I've been awake and like fully conscious for a couple hours, so it's probably not that.
Okay. Initial reaction is that he used the term big mood as well.
Yes.
And this is a 50-year-old man.
He's trying to appeal to the youth of America.
No. I think he's a youth stuck in an age-old body. I think this guy got stuck in some Freaky Friday nonsense. Where he switched bodies with like his grandpa or whatever, and they haven't figured out how to reverse it yet.
Yes.
So you're so Mr. Manko is really Mr. Manko's nephew. And can't find a way out. And that's largely why he wants to die.
That explains so much about the man.
So much.
The man, the myth, the legend, the Manko.
The Manko.
Alrighty. So that actually does.
Like I don't know where else to go with that story.
I don't either.
I wrapped that up so cleanly.
Yes. Okay, but like in all honesty, though, this did get me thinking about a bit of a debate that I was having with one of my friends, and I was like, okay, if you were to swap minds with somebody,
okay,
like, okay, you know, I'm thinking,
yeah,
like this Freaky Friday nonsense, then would you guys swap voices? Like, I was saying no, because I was like, no, you got the vocal cords of somebody else. And she was saying, like, no, I feel like maybe not identical, but your voices would probably at least be very similar to how they would in your original body, because you're so used to hearing the way you talk. You'd, like, mentally adapt yourself to that, even with new vocal cords. So...
I see what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the correct answer is none of the above. I think when you swap bodies with somebody, then the shock of that is so great, you just revert to doing an impression of whatever your favorite actor is, no matter how bad the impression is. Actor or actress. Jonathan, I need you to recall, does Mr. Manko sound like anybody famous? Is there
I've never listened to Daniel Day-Lewis's voice, but based on the pure aesthetic of that man.
Daniel Day-Lewis? Isn't that the guy from Sunny in Philadelphia? It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
It's Daniel DeVito, mate.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah.
What's he from?
Oh, it was,
No, I'm thinking of Charlie something.
Yes. Yes, you are.
Keep going, Jonathan.
Okay, anyways.
So you have no idea what Danny Day-Lewis's voice sounds like, but you know it sounds like Mr. Mango.
Yes. Like, I can, like, spiritually connect the two of them in my mind.
Okay.
I don't even know where to go from there. You're right. We wrapped this up too cleanly.
Yeah, okay. Next thing. I brought a topic to the table
Okay.
that I'd like to share with you. It happened, oh man, it was a week or two ago now. 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
So my friend lives on an apartment off campus of a college, right? Right? Yeah. And she has a car there. And the car has a trailer hitch on it, for like pulling trailers.
Yeah.
And things
okay.
and such. Except her trailer hitch is really old, so it's really rusted. And it's kind of stuck on there. But 2 weeks ago, she a crime was struck as she walked out one morning to find her trailer hitch perfectly and expertly taken off, apart, and then laying across the back bumper of her car.
Oh my actual God.
No other car had this problem. It was just hers. So, Jeff.
And it was stuck on?
I mean, it was like rusty, kind of. It wasn't like totally rusted, but it was pretty rusty. Like she said, she tried to take it off before, and she couldn't without a hammer.
Huh.
So here's the working theory, Jonathan.
Okay.
2 men. The trailer hitch bandits, or whatever, but I like the term bandicoots better.
Yeah. Kind of makes them sound like Crash Bandicoot.
They're basically Crash Bandicoot, a slightly larger Crash Bandicoot.
Yes.
Basically, one has to be the brain, one has to be the muscle, because there's no feasible way that a muscly, smart man going around taking off trailer hitches.
John Cena exists, but go on.
He's busy. He's too busy with his wrestling career to be stealing people's trailer hitches.
Fair enough.
But see, the big thing is that it was taken apart and then put back on the car without any damage. So they couldn't have hit it with their car because that would have damaged her car. They had to have put a lot of time and effort into taking it off.
Okay.
And then they didn't even steal it.
They didn't even steal anything. Okay, so here's what my theory is.
Go on.
Every time Liz falls asleep, she's only asleep for about 5 minutes before she awakes as somebody else entirely. Zill. For lack of a better term. Now, Zill, due to really just being a split personality of Liz, born from her deep-hated resentment of society as a whole.
Okay, sounds plausible.
Yes, so far so good, right?
Yeah.
Basically has all the knowledge that Liz has, but is essentially two different people. It's kind of like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, except in this time both of them are without doctorates instead of just one of them.
Oh,
okay, so both equally educated. And so Zill just kind of like wakes up and she's just kind of like in this manic state of like, oof, I gotta get that trailer thing fixed or whatever. So she like goes down, kind of takes it all apart before she can put it back together. She's like, oh no, I'm gonna fall. She's like, I'm gonna wake back up in just a little bit, and goes right back to bed. And wakes up immediately afterwards.
No,
reborn as Liz.
I think you're close. I think what's more likely is that Zill wakes up, but she's equally as responsible as our dear friend Liz.
Our dear Liz.
So Zill wakes up, and she has to take care of homework and run errands and do everything, but she doesn't like trailer hitches. That's the only difference between Liz and Zill. So, Zill is running, frantically runs out to the car, gets in, runs the errands, comes back. She steps outside, goes, that stupid trailer hitch. And then she takes it off. She's about to throw it in the lake or whatever. And then she's like, I can't. This was a lot of money. Yeah. Let me just make this very uncomfortable for anybody who wants a trailer hitch. Takes it all apart, lays it out in the car, walks back in, falls asleep. Liz wakes up a second later. Yeah.
So I feel like there's gotta be some sort of correlation between Zill and Godzilla, because that's just kind of where my mind's going with this.
The original plot for Godzilla
was it just some deeply responsible monster trying to construct the city, and then just kind of like woke up?
Was a very responsible monster whose family died in a trailer hitch accident. A trailer hitch related accident.
And now Zill, seeing this being as her spirit animal, is just kind of like, I know what I have to do.
Yeah,
that's right.
To make this, I need to continue Godzilla's work
to balance out the universe as we know it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like another Freaky Friday thing, like Mr. Mako.
Yeah. Like Freaky Friday, like
Yeah, like Godzilla as like a deeply responsible but misunderstood monster got accidentally put in Liz's body.
The long lost Godzilla prequel where somebody accidentally swapped minds with the monster Godzilla.
Yeah.
And went around taking apart trailer hitches because they felt like they had to cause some pandemonium, but they were still upstanding citizen.
Yeah. It's like
and then there's the blooper reel at the end where Godzilla stuck in a human body tries to run rampant through the streets.
And is it very effective?
He got like a little
just like runs in and just immediately hit by a car. Or like even better it'd be if the experiment occurred in like the deep south, like runs out of the home immediately shot with no warning.
No, but then the person is stuck in Godzilla's body.
Yeah, and they're just kind of like sitting there like taxes.
Each Godzilla started out with a Freaky Friday situation, where either somebody a little responsible or a little sociopathic ended up in the monster's body.
Yeah.
And then each time they kept trying to reintroduce that to the civilization, and each time it gets cut out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that's this scenario of like the Godzilla consciousness being put in humanity's bodies, how we ended with some of the greatest thinkers, like Abraham Lincoln or George Washington.
Are you suggesting that Abraham Lincoln's mind got zapped into Godzilla and then later zapped out of Godzilla?
Not only am I suggesting it, I can prove it. Just look at how tall that man is. That's pure Godzilla right there.
Abraham Lincoln is a descendant of Godzilla. Noted.
Not so much a descendant, just like an avatar of Godzilla. Like a projection of Godzilla is just.
I have come to represent Godzilla.
Yeah, he's like the Lorax, Nate.
Yeah. I speak for the trailer hitch hating monsters of today, yesterday, and tomorrow.
Yes, exactly. All right.
Wow, we've taken that bit and run with it.
I know. Okay, so this was something that I was talking with you about earlier before we started making this podcast, but I recently read about, I think it was like through Reddit or something, this thing for Stephen King, and it was for a book signing he did for, now I'm trying to remember what it was, but it was like one of the newer movies, books that he had written in like the 2000s or so, and this woman had come up to him, and I'm telling the story horribly, but this woman had come up to him, and she was just kind of like, instead of having a copy of the book from him to sign, it was a copy of The Shawshank Redemption. And she was like, why? She's like, why don't you write more upbeat novels like The Shawshank Redemption? And he was like, well, I did write that. She's like, no, you didn't. What? And he went through like a brief existential crisis of like trying to remember if he did write that or not. But not only is this really funny to me, just for the sole purpose that he somehow missed his name written on it in bold black letters, and so did this woman. But also, it's because of Newton's third law: for every action, there must be an equal and opposite reaction. In this case, the opposite reaction occurred about 20 years earlier when he wrote Cujo. Now, for those that don't know, Stephen King was just a little bit of a hardcore cocaine addict. Oh, okay, never mind. We were on two different trains of thought there for a moment.
I mean, I guess you can be stoned. Yeah. Is stoned exclusively to weed?
I thought so. All right. Well,
that's a discussion we'll return to later.
Right. We'll come back to this later. But anyways,
keep going with your Stephen King story.
So, for those that don't know, he was just a little bit of a hardcore cocaine addict, and he often liked to. I think it was cocaine. I think he was like he mixed that with like cough syrup or something,
like
and
Coke
got high
or something.
Yeah, like Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
Right? just, without the watered down brown stuff that we know and love today.
Let me just drink my Coca-Cola.
he just has like a paper cup just filled with like just the powder cocaine. It's just
what you got there, Steven? It's Coca-Cola.
Steven, is that flour? It's cocaine. What? It's cocaine. Mark.
Is that flour you mixing into your bread? It's cocaine.
It's cocaine, Mark. It's called fashion, sweetie. Look at it.
It's called fashion. You're making cocaine bread. Yep.
You're getting it all over your book. Oh, sorry.
You're getting it all over your... Let me just...
But, anyways, so apparently, for those that don't know about this X novel called Cujo that he wrote, it is one of, to my knowledge, his only novels that where not only is the antagonist not human, but there's no supernatural force in it. Instead, it's just a dog that gets infected with rabies and starts killing people. And it got turned into a movie. I don't know how good the movie was. Apparently, the book was actually pretty decent. But one of the funniest things ever that I've ever heard, this opposite reaction to the Shawshank incident, was the fact that Stephen King, apparently, on like this 3-week bender of drugs, wrote that entire novel and had no memory of it. He just...
What?
Like, in an interview, like, one of the interviews was kind of like, so, Steven, like, tell me about this. It's like one of your few novels that has, like, no supernatural element in it. It's just something as mundane as a dog, the antagonist. What prompted that? And he's like, I have no idea. Because I was high for 3 weeks while writing it. And I just woke up, and it was just fully completed. And in all these bookstores and stuff.
Coca-Cola squirt going into my veins.
I just had pure cocaine pumping into my veins through an IV tube and nothing else.
That please, interviewer. That book was written by Nefetstich, my trailer hitch hating cohort that comes out whenever I eat 2 drugs.
Yeah, it's Shawshank Redemption and Cujo were both written by just the same like split personality of Stephen King, which is why he has like no memory of one, and for the other one, he has no idea if he's even the author of it at all.
They're equal and opposite. He
Yes.
fully realizes he wrote Cujo. He just doesn't know how. Shawshank Redemption, he doesn't know if he's the author. He just knows how it's written.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, for all he knew, like, the real author might have just been, like, a good friend of his, like, kind of writing, just kind of looking over his shoulder, like, what you got there?
Yeah, like, Shawshank Redemption is Stephen King's favorite book, and Nefetstich, his alter ego, is his favorite book is Cujo.
Yes.
Yeah, or Ojuk, as he calls it.
Ojuk.
Keep shaking the desk. Put that knee down, son. But how crazy would that be?
How crazy would that be to just wake up and your editor's just like, hey, Steven, congrats, man. And you're like, on what year? You're like, he's like, on the book, silly. And you're just like sitting there like, what year is it?
You black out and you wake up with the book done.
Yes.
And somebody comes up to you and says, here's your book. Only you didn't write it.
I gotta wonder, like, for the whole Cujo situation, like, what position he was in when he woke up? Like, did he wake up and he just, like, had the pencil in his hand, like, on the last period of the entire novel?
Yeah.
And he was like...
And period. I'm back. What's this?
That was so cold and dark.
It was so cold and dark.
And you're just kind of looking through and you're like, wow, this... I mean, it's not great, but dang, it exists. Yeah.
Let's return to the woman that was able to read the entirety of Shawshank Redemption without being able to read the words Stephen King.
Yeah, I mean, props to her, really. Just
Stephen King. I thought this said Stephen Ring.
I thought it said Stephanie Kingston. What?
I thought it said Stephanie Kingston.
But oh man, just everything about the whole Cujo situation is absolutely bombastic to me because, like, this man is just such a brilliant writer for a time. Like, has anybody ever read it out there? Because it's a great novel. It is absolutely fantastic and freaky. And there's so many interwoven, like, plot lines going into it and everything. And on top of that, in addition to, like, such amazing works like that, like The Dark Tower, he wrote a novel about a dog with rabies, and he has no memory of it.
Okay, so I googled the plot to Cujo.
Yeah.
Right? You know, first of all, I spelled it wrong, but yeah, go me. In this tale of a killer canine, man's best friend turns into his worst enemy. When sweet Saint Bernard Cujo was bitten by a bat. Okay, so there's the first thing we skipped.
So right off the bat, Dracula.
Yeah, the bat was Dracula, and now Cujo is a vampire bat.
Yeah.
I hate to break it. He starts behaving oddly and becomes very aggressive. As Cujo morphs into a dangerous beast.
I like to imagine that there's
Dracula.
like a sort of like physical transformation there. Like he just like
Cujo, boy, calm down. This ain't like you. You don't like wearing capes. Inverted black and red colors.
and then it like cuts to him and he's got like the red tinted sunglasses and he's like, my time's come.
He's got the red tinted. What are you thinking? I was picturing a Dracula dog.
Oh.
What are you thinking?
Oh my god, I was just thinking of like cool things like Cyclops from X-Men. He's not a very cool person in general, but I mean those glasses, man.
Okay, so a hipster Dracula dog with red sunglasses.
Yeah.
As Cujo morphs into a dangerous beast, he goes on a rampage in a small town. Stay-at-home mom Donna gets caught up in Cujo's crosshair on a fateful errand with her son Tad. His name is Tad.
Yeah, you can tell he was high when he wrote that name.
Watch out, son. It's a tad dangerous out there. Mother, we're about to be killed.
Mother, my arms are gone. Shut up, Tad.
Don't worry. It's just a tad of an injury.
It's just a tad of oh, he bled out.
Oh, he's everywhere. That dog. That dog is tad dangerous.
Imagine giving like the eulogy for Tad's funeral. It's just kind of like, all right. Well, as we all knew, Tad was just a tad dangerous. Oh boy, got him. But seriously,
stuck in their tiny car, Donna and Tad have a frightening showdown with the crazed animal. End of summary.
Is that the climax of the entire
climax
story?
Is they play chicken with the Dracula dog in their car.
Wait, so and then the dog apparently loses, but like,
oh really? He was.
I mean, I can only assume he's a dog fighting against a truck. Let me look this up.
It specifically said tiny car.
Okay.
So
he might have a chance.
Does vampire spawn Cujo the Saint Bernard have a chance against, say, I don't know, a Volkswagen Beetle?
I know this story came out like 30-something years ago, but we didn't know about it in 1981, so we're giving our 2 cents on it now, but let me look at it.
Yeah.
No, yeah, he dead. Cujo's...
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Cujo loses to a Volkswagen Beetle.
Tad does die from dehydration and heat stroke. Tad, son, you're feeling a tad warm. And he's like already dead right there, like in her arms.
Yeah, that's the lamest way to go. You're fighting a vampire dog and you die of dehydration? That's just lame.
Now, here's the funny thing. It says, Donna, after witnessing the attack, I don't know what attack, and witnessing Tad is in danger of dying of dehydration, battles Cujo and kills him. So, like, I'm just kind of imagining how that goes down. It's just kind of like, you know, just this lawless wasteland. You're kind of like, sonny boy. He's like, Mother, I haven't had water. So I've forgotten the crisp taste of it. She's like, there's only one thing I can do. I gotta kill this dog before I get you any amount of water. Ever. And he's like, Mom, I can literally just see like a water bottle right there through the corner of my eye. And she's like, shut up, Tad.
It's right over there. Shut Tad. She cocks her gun and walks out.
And like shoots the water bottle and then the dog.
She loads the gun and shoots the water bottle. Yep, it works. Let's go. You there, dog. Prepare for a duel.
This is at the very end of the Wikipedia summary. A postscript reminds the reader that Cujo was a good dog who always tried to keep his owners happy, but the ravage of rabies drove violence. This is like a school PSA. Like, Timmy was always a good little boy, but the ravages of crack cocaine drove him to violence. Much like Stephen King himself. So either you're driven to violence by crack cocaine, or you just write a story.
Yeah.
And, you know, about a dog.
Cujo started out as a good boy who would buy the whole saloon drinks, and by the end he was Wild Weston dueling Donna, the terrible... I had a name for her.
Yeah. Donna
the dog slayer.
Yeah, oh, that's good, that's
good. Out of my way, Cujo. I just need a tad of water. Cujo's just staring at her. That doesn't even make any sense, Donna. You're using that word totally wrong for forced puns, Donna. This is why I'm killing you, Donna.
And he's just standing for like the only water bottle left in the entire city. He's like, please, Cujo, if I don't get that water to my son, he'll die. So be it.
So be it, Donna.
They gotta like really recreate this as like an animated film, but Cujo only speaks and barks with subtitles.
I'd watch it.
Yeah. So,
and everyone can understand
but
it.
it's kind of like Isle of Dogs, where they're kind of talking to English, but only in scenes when it's just Cujo, like monologuing to himself. He's like, the rain. He's like, the rain was cold against my fur. There was something building up in my core. I could feel it, a rage coming out. And then, like in real life, it just kind of like, bark, 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 bark.
Cujo has a constant internal English monologue.
I can't say it would be funnier if it's like some guy with like an Australian accent, or like some woman with a very thick Cockney accent.
And the rain. I can't do a Cockney accent.
Yeah, let's not try that.
Let's not try that. That's dangerous. That's a risky business.
That could offend a lot of people.
Yeah. Okay, Jonathan, let's dive into something I already told you about and already laughed a lot about.
Okay.
The great Dread Pirate Roberts.
Oh, God, yes. He told me about this 2 days ago.
So within the past decade, I can't exactly remember my dates, but my friend told me about this story, and it's probably the funniest thing I've ever heard. Within the past decade, a man rose up and called himself the Dread Pirates Roberts after the book The Princess Bride. He then established the largest, I think, currently, or one of the... He established a very large illegal trade, a very big illegal trade, that he called the Silk Road. Because, why not?
You might as well.
Weirdly enough, I don't think he sold silk in there. He just sold drugs, slaves, and, guns. To battle Cujos with
the 3 components that make up silk.
The 3 components that make up... Some witch over her cauldron with these guns. Eyes of guns, toes of slaves. Ah! And the other thing I said, a lot of Coca-Cola squared.
I love how she needed the toes of slaves, but she put just an entire dude in there.
My toes!
Just a whole man in there.
AK-47. Coke, a lot of Coca-Cola and Coke, and the entire man.
That part wasn't necessary. I just did it for the aesthetic.
That part wasn't necessary. I just really don't like my neighbor. We have silk. But yeah.
Yeah, and that's why it was so valuable when the Silk Road first started up, because the Chinese were the only country that had enough population that they could afford.
The Chinese were the only ones that were making guns at the time.
They were the only one that were making Coca-Cola at the time.
And then there was the opium crisis, so then they had, the bad silk.
Yeah.
The knockoff Chinese silk.
Yeah, like if you touch it, you just die. Much like real opium.
Much like real silk.
I don't know if you guys know this, but
That's why they have to dilute the silk.
But I've never done drugs ever.
That might be something you figure out about us. Maybe watching us talk about drugs for 5 seconds.
If you could already tell by the everything about us.
Okay.
You don't need drugs to have fun.
You don't need drugs. You just need a computer and a microphone.
Yeah.
Clearly. And too much time on your hands. The Dread Pirate Roberts created this trade called the Silk Road, and people were trying to stop him.
Yeah.
As you do.
Like all great things in history.
Like Napoleon's domination of the world.
Yeah. Or Alexander the Great's massive empire. That was actually pretty dope.
Yeah. But the point was they tracked the Dread Pirates Roberts to a library. And then they also knew, and they see him typing away on his computer and whatnot, and they were like, we gotta be careful, because he has a button on there that'll, lock up everything on his computer, and we can't get it. Encrypt it and whatnot. And then we lose all the evidence. So they're like, we have to capture him without giving him time to push a button that's 2 inches away from his hand.
Mm-hmm.
So what was their plan?
I don't know. What?
You do know.
I do, but...
They get a very pretty woman to walk over there and talk to him, and when he has turned his body enough to where he can't readily hit the button on his computer, they tackle him to the ground! These professional, worldwide renowned federal agents, I would think they're worldwide renowned, they're working internationally, their plan was basically look over there and hit him over the head with a frying pan!
The funny thing is I've been thinking about this for a while. There's not much else they could really have done at all. What do you even do in this? Okay, first of all, a couple of things.
What did they call it? Backup? I don't know. They could have just shot him with a tranquilizer gun. And instead, they took the time to have a woman go flirt with him and fight him to the ground.
Okay, so as it turns out, there's a lot they could have done, really. But now that it's been brought to my attention that there were alternatives. But a couple things about this that I just want to bring to attention. One, imagine being like the leader of that team and having to present a plan to your boss. Like, okay, all right, Armstrong. So we got the best idea ever for how to deal with this guy. It's like, all right, great, let's hear it. And it's like, okay, so we get a pretty woman and we tackle him to the ground. And Armstrong's like absolutely enthralled. He's like, like, is the woman tackling him? No, two different people. Oh, okay, now it's gonna work. Okay.
That makes a lot worse. The only thing funnier than that is if they like as if they distracted him and then swapped out the computers. That's the only possibility I can think of that would be funnier than distract him and then tackle him to the ground.
It's like Indiana Jones when he's like the little pedestal is kind of based on weight, and he's like,
wow.
So,
and then Dread Pirate Roberts, the dangerous man he is, turns around and goes, "This isn't my computer. There's a goddamn like llama on the screen or something." One behind him goes, "Oh no."
Hey, this is my computer. I don't have Internet Explorer.
I don't use Internet Explorer. Wham! Whacked over the head with a purse.
Why are there 50 tabs open of just Amazon shopping? Wham!
I mean, the guy took the time to call himself the Dread Pirates Roberts, and he wasn't even like...
He didn't even have a gun built into his computer, which really, like, how can you even be deserving of the name Dread Pirate Roberts? You don't have a gun built into your computer.
And he was beat by a pretty woman and somebody that got a run head start against him.
I have so many thoughts about this. Like, I mean, for one, imagine, what was he doing when the woman came up to him? Was he just, like, played, like... Was he just on like cool math games? And then this woman comes up to him and she's like, "Oh, yo, I freaking love Run 2." And he's like, "Right." No, and then and he's just tackled out of nowhere.
That's the biggest downfall of illegal arms traders, is that they're so busy with illegal arms trading that they're always single and ready to mingle.
Yeah, really.
I mean, how many married illegal arms dealers have you heard of getting captured?
None.
Then again, I haven't heard that many illegal arms dealers captured, but I mean, so far it's married.
I haven't heard any arms dealers, period, really, besides this guy.
I mean, so far it's married zero single one. So I like those odds.
I can think of like a couple of drug lords that are married. Like I think it was Pablo Escobar.
Excuse me, kind sir, are you single? No, I'm actually not. I'm beautifully.
Imagine playing that.
Guys, it's not going to work. He's not single.
No, imagine me that like, and she kind of, like the woman's watching. She's like, "Well, hello there." And it's like.
Wait right there. I'll be back with Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Because we all know he's really a federal agent.
Really, yeah.
You can't star in enough movies being a federal agent, not be a federal agent.
Yeah, it's part of the process. It's like a 4 movies minimum. The president visits you and he's like, "Okay, Dwayne, you got to become part of the FBI now."
Yeah, because everybody still thinks he's just a movie star.
Yeah.
And then the Dread Pirate Roberts gets tackled to the ground. He turns around and he goes, "Dwayne The Rock Johnson, I thought you were just visiting this place. I never knew you were a real federal agent." And he's like,
and then Dwayne's just like, "Rock beats paper." And he's like, "That doesn't make any sense."
Rock beats. That doesn't make any sense. See, it's the greatest irony when you take somebody who constantly plays a federal agent and just make them a federal agent.
I know.
Nobody's gonna see. Nobody sees. He's shooting for a movie. He's running really close. I'm on the ground now. My computer.
Like Dwayne Johnson's stabbing you, like in the chest, and he's like, "Oh, I bet it's just a movie," and then you die.
Oh, it's just a movie. Now I'm dead. Beautiful woman's gone. Computer's gone. Locked in jail.
But, anyways, like, back to this whole thing with... Wait, was it in your story... Was it that the woman tackled him to the ground, or is it some other guy got a running head start on him?
Well, I have a picture somebody else got a running head start on him. I have a hard time picturing a woman go from seducing to tackling in 0.5 seconds.
Okay, well, that's just coward talk right there, because somebody's never heard of Natasha Romanoff. But...
I mean...
Anyways...
No.
But anyways, so this just raises so many implications. Like I think it was you when you were first telling me this story that you were like, imagine if they just like didn't have any girls on their team. So it was just like they just got to get like some like big 6 foot like 5 guys just kind of like, "All right, Brutus, you're in a dress," and he's like, "Nice."
Brutus. And then Brutus, Victor, Sergey, Trust, for who gets to wear the dress.
And Sergey is like praying the whole time. He's like, please.
That's the one thing I waited for.
And he just draws like a straw like the size of his arm. He's like, oh
man. They pull out a metal bar and break it into pieces because they're all just that jacked in order to be a federal agent.
But like, what would they have to do in order to get this seduction to work? Like, were they like researching the guy's fetish and like, okay, well, this dude just has a thing for a woman with like biceps the size of his head. So
no, I think that's because Dread Pirates Roberts already mingle, right?
Yeah, right.
He doesn't have a lot of time, so I think they just each made a Tinder account for different types of girls, short, small, medium, average, tall, whatever, blonde, brunette, redhead, so on and so forth, and they just keep swiping until they come across, Dread Pirates Roberts' photo. It's him posing in the background of the museum, official bride or whatever.
He's like setting something on fire.
Yeah. Swipe left and he's setting something on fire. Swipe right and it's thumbs up and he's with like the contract for selling like nukes to Easter Island.
Whatever he's doing.
Whatever a Dread Pirate does these days.
Yeah. Very diverse
description,
career.
Dread Pirates Roberts, 24, loves long walks on the beaches. And
an absolute hoe for The Bachelor.
Absolutely love The Bachelor. Time with work.
If you're not Team Jacob, then get out.
You keep kicking my desk down.
I'm sorry.
That offends me. If you're not Team Jacob, get out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we all know that Dread Pirates Roberts does not have time to date, but has time to watch the entire Twilight series.
Well, absolutely, because dating is like a long-term thing. But you can do like the entirety of Twilight if you just have like a couple books. Sorry, not books. Bucks. In just like a day.
You raised a very interesting point there, Jonathan.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's very unlikely that, like, some guy named Dread Pirate Roberts is gonna have, like, every Friday off to, like, go out and, like, get dinner with, like, the partner of his choice, but I mean, just, like, one day to binge, like, all the Twilight movies seems a bit more likely.
His schedule is a little too sporadic for dating. That was the, that's how the women seduced him. She walked up, she's like, I'm not looking for anything long-term, just, like, a night of binge-watching. And then he was all
he was just like, God, yes. And he stood up from his chair and was just immediately tackled to the ground.
Let's go. Wham!
She has, like, a cardboard cutout, like, mask by Taylor Lautner on his face. He's like, well, hello. Bam.
They don't have it gross, so they just put a mask on. They run to the magazine section of the library and cut out a mask for them.
There's, like, two little holes that cut out for their eyes. He's just kind of holding it up above his...
Okay, I just thought it was something interesting. How many failed plans do you think they got through before they decided?
Well, I'd like to think that was a sort of like...
was it like Mission Impossible? They were trying to like throw pebbles to make him turn around and drop in from the skylight and grab the laptop and back up, and then go down, and then he'd like turn around and then turn around, and then he finally put earbuds in, and they were like right above him, and they're like, go up.
No, I'm thinking it was like a computer simulation type of thing where they're just kind of like, all right, we got like all these different plans, let's go through. And she's kind of like, all right, so Lieutenant, report, what do you got? And he's like, all right, well, plan A ended in like all of Canada just dying. And like plan B somehow had the Silk Road like doubling in size. So, and we just kept going down the list. And eventually we did like plan R. And it's like, yeah, there's like a 20% chance that this all just goes up in flames. But man, if this works,
how confident were they in this plan?
I feel like if this was their plan to begin with, they probably weren't very confident. They probably had like their win. How does this thing go? Wits end. They're probably at their wits end.
He's foiled every plan we've thrown at him so far. He's dodged the bullets. He's dodged the tranquilizer. It's just one of those like Stanley scenes of Amazing Spider-Man.
Oh
he has the headphones in. And he's actually dodging all their, tranquilizing techniques or whatever.
But okay, actually, this does remind me of World War One, world history class, the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand. Probably one of the greatest assassinations in all of history because it shouldn't have worked, and yet it did, and that resulted in a war that just consumed like all of America. Sorry, not all of America, all of the world. Not. Anyways, all of the world for like a long time, and it got so bad they had to get Wonder Woman to come in and help them. Granted, that was just in the movie, but
I'm pretty sure that would happen in real life.
Yeah. But anyways, so
I mean, how else would they have made a real life movie out of it?
How else would America want that?
How else would America want the world?
But like that assassination was pretty hilarious because they just had so many plans that went so wrong. Like it was like a whole bunch of guys trying to like shoot after like his car, and then it was like one of them threw like a grenade and it went off too slow and it just blew up the car next to them. He just drove by completely harmlessly. Or like they were shooting at him, and at one point it was like they were completely like almost point blank, and they still couldn't get him because they were all terrible shots and firearms were just bad back then. One of the guys became so distraught that about the whole operation, he tried to take a suicide pill. He was just like, "This is not working," and it was like expired or something. And it just didn't work. So he tried to like commit suicide by like leaping off the bridge into the river, and it's just like an inch of water. So he was just like pulled out and arrested by the police almost immediately afterwards. And all of his accomplices got away. And just by sheer chance, they happened to be stuck in traffic right next to Archduke Franz Ferdinand. So they're like,
so this guy is going down in a car, and there's just chugging along. And then right then, bang, bang, both the cars are taken out.
Yeah.
And then he just keeps going, and then little grenade rolls right underneath his car. Bang! He hits the new car that just magically pulled up to him. And it just keeps going. And the guy's like sitting there with his rifle. He's like, I can't do this. Takes a pill. Nothing happens. He's like, nuts.
That was a waste of $4.
I'm alive. I just broke my one rule of not hitting the desk. That's important. The poor two guys left. That's a wild assassination, dude.
I know. But, like, the thing is, it shouldn't have worked. And not only did it work, but, like, it just kind of ruined everything. Like, we got, like, the biggest war in history because of these guys. Just because the traffic happened to be so... Like, okay, I know that we always say stuff like... I mean, not we, because I was not alive then. But, like, older people always say stuff like, oh, you always remember, like, where you were for 9/11. Like, imagine being that guy. Like, I remember where I was on the day that Archduke Franz Ferdinand was assassinated. I know, because they blew up my car by accident.
I know, because I was the one that had the tire broke down on the road that caused the traffic.
I know, because I was the policeman that pulled that guy out of the river and arrested him. And then, like, 4 minutes later, I hear, like, hey, they shot him. And I'm like, oh, well.
I thought I did my job.
But no, I did not do my job. Not good enough.
That's so sad.
But this is, like, exactly what that reminds me of. It should not have worked. And yet, against all odds, it did. And for the stupidest reason. I still, I'm like, okay, I gotta like get a picture of this guy, because I want to know, like, how moderately attractive he is. Like, but also, like, I'm still wondering, what was he doing when the woman came up to him? Like, what was he doing on his laptop?
I don't know, maybe he was just playing Minesweeper.
Yeah.
Okay, we're in search. Dread Pirate.
Oh, yeah, there
Roberts. This is Prince.
All we're getting is stuff from Princess Bride. Ross Ulbricht? Is that okay? Yeah, I think that's it.
Oh, yeah.
What we're looking for. His name
is
Ross
Ulbricht. He's not bad looking.
Yeah, no, he's pretty decently attractive.
Is a convicted American drug trafficker and darknet market operator.
Oh.
Best known for creating and running the Silk Road website from 2011 until his arrest in 2013. He was known by a pseudonym. Yeah, he's not a bad looking dude.
No.
Are his hobbies on here? Oh, he was a Boy Scout. So he was just hanging out in, the library, whittling a knife for his next campaign.
Yeah. Just whittling away a laptop.
Yeah. They had to act fast because if whittling away a laptop,
yeah.
This one laptop might get stolen from me. So let's just start carving my next laptop. Oh, guys, he's carving next laptop. We have to act fast. We don't have time for reinforcements.
We have a window of opportunity here.
Our window of opportunity shrunk by this much to this much. Jenny, get out there. Do something.
And Jenny's just like the intern who's like not paying attention at all. She's like, what am I doing? And she's like, look at that moderately attractive guy who's like maybe like a 6 out of 10. And she's like, yeah. And he's like, can you just go over and like talk to him for a little bit? Yeah. And like mid conversation, like some mass like Brutus just runs over and just absolutely tackles him to the ground.
Jenny, I know it's Springer Diner work day. Your Uncle Jerry's in the bathroom. But can you please go talk to that guy? I guess so. Jerry walks up. Hey, where's Jenny? She's over there talking to Dread Pirates Roberts. She's what? wham! And that's why they call it the Dread Pirate Roberts. It was a simple two-stage process. Jenny, go talk. Uncle Jerry, go defend Jenny.
Really, all operations should be a two-stage process.
Oh no, you don't understand. You don't understand, daughter. Every day in the life of a federal agent is bring your daughter your work day. I don't know why.
I guess it's for times like these.
It's for times like these. We've been talking about the Dread Pirate Roberts for a long time.
We've been talking about it for a very long time.
In our defense, there's a lot of material.
There is so much material here. Like, I'm just kind of thinking, like, there's that little button they press that just, like, disables everything on the Silk Road. Like, that to me is kind of funny in itself. Like, what's the backup plan there? Because I know the whole idea is that he, like, pressed the button, and then since it's disabled, then like, he can't access it anymore, and the FBI can't, like, prove that he was related at all and will walk free. Well, what's he gonna do then? And he's got like 200 people that are all like, "Hey, dude." He's like, "Hey, where's my meth?" And he's like, "Yeah, yo, I can't get into the system." He's like, "Why?" He's like, I locked myself out. He's like, "I got the blue screen of death."
Like, don't you remember your password? I'm trying admin, and it's not working.
Password. Error. Password 1 denied.
I know I made a password just for this situation, but I can't remember it.
A, denied. A, B, denied.
I think he's got 2 buttons.
One that locks down the entire computer, one just kills him. Like, like he's gonna just take to the corner of his laptop, and he's like, that'd be so helpful. Like, he's just in, like, not even for, like, FBI, like, he's just in some awkward situation, and he's just kind of like, it just kills him instantly. Like, you press the button, and just shoots the gun right out of his head.
The reason they had to tackle him, they had a long-term seduction thing planned, except Jenny, who's not the daughter, this is the older Jenny, the one that's actually employed there. Yeah, Jenny, the federal agent, had a long-term seduction thing planned, but she's not that good, and Dread Pirate Roberts was a little awkward, and he was going for that kill me button, so they had to hurry up and tackle him to the ground.
Imagine being like,
his kill me button was over here, and his kill the computer button was over here. He didn't have enough time to hit that before Dwayne The Rock Johnson brought him down.
Yeah, because as we all know, Dwayne The Rock Johnson's faster than a bullet.
Yeah.
But, like, that would just be so helpful.
It's faster. Just, guys, I'm going in.
Just imagine that being at Starbucks, and, like, the girl's just kind of like, all right, enjoy a drink. And he's like, you too.
He pulls
like hovering over the kill me button.
He just pulls out a comically larger button out of his pocket.
He's like,
Mo. I'm going to the library.
He's like Mo from that one episode of The Simpsons where he just like, where it's like Christmas Eve and like gets a present from The Simpsons and looks over and like in his closet there's just like a little noose hanging from the ceiling. He's like, not today, old friend.
Not today, red button. I'm going to the library.
Imagine being Jenny in the situation like, hey, what's that little button on your computer that just says kill me? And he's like, I don't know, it's nothing.
No, it's a drug.
You press it and just dispense cocaine right into your mouth.
Oh, why does it say kill me? I couldn't find any other buttons I could will.
Oh, well, that's cool.
The Evil Pirate Emporium was fresh out of buttons that said Coke.
And it just cuts to like Uncle Jerry on the phone. He's like, we're losing him. We're losing control of the situation. And Dwayne's just kind of like in this little like tiny cell, and he's just kind of like, let me at him. And they're just kind of like, all right, Dwayne.
They open Dwayne The Rock Johnson's cage and he flies out at Dread Pirate Roberts.
They only let him out to tackle people once a year. or no, maybe it's like in Furious 7 where he like breaks his arm and gets in a cast and he just acts for the entire movie. And in the very climax, he's like getting shot at by some people and he's just kind of like, Daddy's go to work. And he just flexes and the whole cast just comes off. And his arm is completely fine underneath it.
They carry him around in a coffin or whatever. And when they
it was like a little straitjacket. And they're like, Dwayne, it's time. And fine. He just rips out of the straitjacket.
Why are we keeping him in a straitjacket? They can just do that.
You can do that the whole time? What's even the point then? Just let him roam free. We already can't control him. He already has a mind of his own.
He's already a fully sentient, humanized weapon.
It's already classified as a lethal weapon.
There's literally nothing he can't do except the counting. It's his one weakness. That's why we have Ben Affleck.
Yeah. You know, we kind of got like bounce out like the one little void that Dwayne Johnson can't fill. Like the two little things that he can't do are counting and be small. That's why we have Kevin Hart and Ben Affleck.
That's why we have Kevin Hart and Ben Affleck.
Yeah. Did y'all ever see that movie? What was it? Like Central Intelligence, starring Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart.
I did.
I watched it on part of an airplane. That was like, I didn't finish it, but that
Did you say you watched it on part of an airplane?
Yeah.
Did your airplane crash with an airplane? And you're flying through the air on your seat, and you're just like, ah.
I meant to say,
all right, let me just.
I meant to say I watched part of it on an airplane, but anyways.
I watched. What? There goes the rest.
But I thought that was actually.
That's a bummer. Let me just.
I thought that was
do something to soothe my nerves. Central Intelligence starring Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart. This will calm me as I plummet to my doom.
But anyways, I thought that was actually like a pretty good movie from what I saw. But probably like one of the funnier parts about it was like when he's fighting all those guys in the bar and all like these bikers, one of them points to Kevin Hart, like tiny little poor shriveled up Kevin Hart, and he just kind of like, hey, what's your boyfriend doing there? And he's like, whoa, son, that's quite homophobic. And he's like, I know that what you said isn't directly homophobic, but based on the tone in your voice, I can tell you have a lot of hatred towards gay people that you need to work out in some counseling. And the guy's like, man, can you just shut up? And Dwayne Johnson then kills him. So, like, I'm not sure it's ever explicitly stated that he kills him, but like any encounter with Dwayne The Rock Johnson either ends in death or you are Dwayne The Rock Johnson, and
or you become a better person from it.
Or you become a better person, and he clearly wasn't going in that direction.
He clearly was not going in that. Also, what Kevin Hart ever do to you that you just dragged him through the dirt like that?
I mean, he's just so small. I think I could just kind of like put him in like the pockets of my exercise shorts and just kind of take him to school. like, oh my god, guys, you see what I got here? Just kind of like pull him back.
It's Kevin Hart.
It's Kevin Hart.
What's in the other pocket? Tom Cruise. They're the same size.
They're virtually the same person. Really, you get down to when you bring it down to the basics. No, but you saw the new Mission Impossible, right?
Yeah, well, that.
Oh man, it took forever for Tom Cruise to start running. But when he did, my eyes were to cry. I was like, there you go.
I just got the joke.
It's like
because Tom Cruise does small.
Yeah, but it's like in that one episode of Family Guy where one of the cutaway gags, which I don't really like Family Guy that much, but like some of the cutaway
gags
are pretty funny, but
where Tom Cruise is the size of the baby Stewie.
Actually, that was pretty funny too. I was gonna say that one where I was like, oh man, so that's why he's always running, never seen that he's in, and it cuts like Tom Cruise. And he's like grabbing up a scene, and he's got thinking to himself, it's like, that cameraman has nice biceps. And he just like runs in the opposite direction. Like, you can't catch me, gay thoughts.
Okay, that reminded me of an idea I had. I think I shared with you, and that's we're gonna take famous scenes throughout history, compile them into a movie, and then we're gonna place somebody who physically does not match the description of the character in.
Yeah.
So we can have an entire history movie about the life of Abraham Lincoln, but Abraham Lincoln is played by like a short, chubby Asian girl.
Yeah. Or like alternatively, maybe just like the character seems pretty historically accurate up until they become relevant to the story. Like if we're retelling George Washington, my suggestion was like Hamilton is played by just like some white guy in like his late 20s or so, and then suddenly when he gets relevance and is like becomes I think like Secretary of State or something,
he's Kevin Hart.
Yeah, then suddenly he's Kevin Hart. Or like I was suggesting that we have Abraham Lincoln be played by the absolute massive Gwendolyn Christie, who if you all recall, she is quite tall, 6'3" 191 centimeters.
That's way taller than me.
Yeah, and I think Lincoln was. How tall was Lincoln? I remember seeing this in a graph of like.
In a graph.
Yeah, of like the different like. It was like to prove that correlation does not equal causation. It was like showing that different heights presence and how successful they were. And of course, Abraham Lincoln is right at the top of both of these, like presidential success and height. And I'm like, well, excuse you, this clearly is correlation.
This
clearly is causation right here.
The taller you are, the more successful you are.
Yeah, I mean, like the hat only augments that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's why Tom Cruise became successful, because he was very tall, and then due to an accident where a boulder fell on his head, and compressed him.
Yeah,
became short.
So
but he originally was tall.
That's also why so few of the actors from Lord of the Rings ever went on to do other stuff, because they all played hobbits. So,
oh yeah, they physically reduced their height.
Yes. So,
for that, it was a worthy sacrifice. They looked at all the hobbits and the actors that played Gimli and Merry and Pippin, and Frodo. They were like, "You need to understand the risks here. You will never be able to do a movie again after this trilogy. It's a worthy cause. We can do this." Orlando Bloom, you're safe.
You're safe.
Ewan McGregor, you're fine.
And they're like, Sir Ian McKellen, you're also good. And he's just kind of like, oh man, I want to be short for once in my life, just to see how the other side lived.
Just to see how the other side lived.
But oh man, I was just about to say something hilarious corresponding to height, but now I've absolutely forgotten what it was. But anyways, actually, the whole topic of correlation and causation does remind me of that just absolute slam where somebody was like, okay, so, I'm not saying that vaccines cause autism. I'm just saying we're vaccinating more kids, and also more kids are being diagnosed as having autism. And some dude was just kind of like, hey, that's a pretty nice idea. Let me show you this. And it was like a graph, and it was just like amount of like white children that have drowned in a public pool in America versus the amount of movies Nicolas Cage is in per year, and they overlapped perfectly. And it was like, correlation really doesn't equal causation.
The more Nicolas Cage movies there are, that's why he hasn't been making so many movies.
Yeah.
He realized
he's trying to save the kids.
He's trying to save the kids from public pools.
His own son finally drowned, and he was just kind of like,
that's it. I can't take the risk anymore.
Oh my gosh, that reminds me of just the sheer audacity of this. Like, nearly just like threw my soul out of my body when I first read this. Nicolas Cage wanted to be in a Superman movie for the longest time, so he had like a whole Superman movie planned out where he would just like have the Superman mullet that nobody liked except for him for some reason. Story of his life, really. And then he had like the complete black Superman costume. He couldn't fly in the movie. He had like no cape. It was super weird.
So he was just gonna be Nicolas Cage.
In essence, yes.
Nicolas Cage. The Superman.
The method acting of it, like, completely, like, mentally rearranged his mind. So now he can only play that one type of character, just wearing all black, not being able to fly, and just beating things up. But anyways, so my point was that there's that Teen Titans animated movie that just came out. Actually, just came out. I think it was a couple of months ago. But Nicolas Cage voices Superman in that. And I was like, oh man, look at this guy go. He finally got, like...
He finally lived his dream.
He finally lived his dream. And then, like, in the Wikipedia section that says, like, Nicolas Cage... It's, like, Nicolas Cage voices Superman. He'd been wanting to do this role for years. And it's, like, FYI, he named his son Kal-El Cage because of this. And can you imagine what it must have been like growing up like that and being like...
Excuse me while I Google this real quick.
It is an actual thing, I swear. It's like, just look up Kal-El Cage.
Kal-El Cage. Kal-El Kapala Cage.
Like, not only does this kid exist, but like...
He's an actor.
Yes, exactly.
She gave birth to their son, Kal-El, named after Superman's birth name. First of all, his full name is Nicolas Kim Cage.
Oh, okay. Well, so he secretly is a Kardashian, but yeah. Anyways. But, like, what was the name of Nicolas Cage's wife again?
Cage Bianti. Christina Fulton.
Christina Fulton. Imagine being Christina Fulton for just a moment.
Weston Kapala Cage.
Imagine marrying this dude, and he's like, hey, Christina, I really want to have a child with you. And she's like, oh, that's cool. And he's like, but he has to be named after Superman, or else we're not doing it.
Oh, so he had a baby with Christina Fulton.
Okay.
And then they broke up, and then he married Patricia Arquette, and they broke up, and then he married Lisa Marie Presley, daughter of Elvis Presley.
What? What? Wait, what? Lisa Marie Presley, daughter of Elvis. That's his second. What? Cage is an Elvis fan and used the star as the base of his performance and wowed. What?
And then
And then right afterwards, his third wife is Alice Kim, a former waitress who worked at a Los Angeles restaurant.
In the same year, Cage married the daughter of Elvis Presley and then filed for divorce?
Wow.
Cage's third wife is Alice Kim, a former waitress.
She gave birth to their son, Kal-El, after Superman's birth name on October 3rd, 2005. Kal-El, Paula Cage, if you are watching this, I am so sorry that we are dragging you so much, but there was no way that we could not, given the circumstances.
I still can't get over the fact that Nicolas Cage married the daughter of Elvis Presley, made a movie about her, and then filed for divorce.
Immediately
afterwards. In the same year.
In the same year. Like, he knew it would only work if they were married, but he just really wanted to make the movie.
The entire basis of the relationship was a movie.
It's like the reverse of Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively. They only met on set of Green Lantern, which was the worst DC movie, and probably the worst superhero movie I think I or most other people have ever seen. Absolutely.
Okay, folks, I think that's going to do it for a podcast for deaf people.
Episode number 2. We covered a lot of ground today. We talked about my photography teacher. We talked about
the Trailer Hitch Bandit, and then we talked about the Dread Pirates Roberts, the Dread Pirates Roberts, and then we talked about
Stephen King also.
We talked about Stephen King. And we talked about Archduke Ferdinand, and then we talked about the Dread Pirates Roberts and the Dread. We talked about the Dread Pirates Roberts for most of this.
Really, most of it. And then Nicolas Cage.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
And then we just kind of dragged his son just a little bit at the end.
I mean,
yeah.
He's named after Kal-El.
Yeah.
If there's ever sightings of Superman, we know where to go first.
But man, it must be hard to live up to that expectation. Like not only of your parents, imagine me Kal-El, we did not name you after America's greatest hero for this. And it's Dad, Superman is fictional. And he's go to your room.
Go to your room, Kal-El.
I'm just picturing the headlines Kal-El Coppola Cage arrested for manslaughter or something, and just kind of wow, you really let us down.
You really let us. All right, folks. I'm Nate Dodderman,
and I'm Jonathan Dodderman.
Life's a joke. Might as well laugh. Don't do the laugh.
I'm sorry.